Welcome to this edition of Head to Head. I'm your host, Cam McKinney, and this is episode number 388 of the podcast. And on this week's episode, I'm talking about the Dodgers once again winning the World Series. For the second straight season, the LA Dodgers have won the World Series, besting the Toronto Blue Jays in a tight 7-game series. 2 of the games went to extra innings. The hero of this year's World Series is Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who threw a complete game in Game 2 and 6 innings in Game 6, and threw the final 2+ innings of Game 7. Not to give myself too much credit, but for a while now, I have thought he was the key to the Dodgers. He had the best regular season of anyone on their pitching staff. I believe we are talking about a future Cy Young Award winner. He is the first starting pitcher to win World Series MVP since Steven Strasburg took home the honor in 2019. Let's get into whether or not the Dodgers winning is good or bad for baseball, which everyone seems fixated on when it comes to the Dodgers. The sport has had more than enough parity before now. There hasn't been a repeat champ since the Yankees in 2000. It's okay for the sport to have a dominant team. I know everyone lost their minds this past offseason with the moves that the Dodgers were making, but keep in mind, they lost 2 of those relievers that they brought in Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates, who were not that good with the Dodgers, by the way, even when they were healthy. Coming into the season, many predictions were that the Dodgers were going to be the best team we had ever seen, that they were going to win 115+ regular season games. Most people predicted that. They are not head and shoulders above everyone, and their star power, I believe, is good for the game. You have Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman. All are household names and future Hall of Famers. What really annoys people is the possibility of this team, the Dodgers, having a huge offseason. Will they be in on Kyle Tucker? Their outfield was diminished by season's end. One thing I'm really interested in the future of the team is if Roki Sasaki becomes their closer and stays there. That might make the most sense given the fact that they have a deep starting rotation with Yamamoto, Blake Snell, and Tyler Glasnow, and Sasaki looked unreal in the bullpen. I do want to talk about some individuals on the Dodgers. Mookie Betts now has 4 World Series titles to his name. Freddie Freeman has 3. Dave Roberts as a manager has 3 titles. We all know they are headed to the Hall of Fame, but how many World Series titles can they get moving forward with the Dodgers? And the feeling is a lot, because the team is going to invest. They're going to have more and more talent join them, and I just believe they are the most well-run organization in all of baseball. And I really don't believe that Andrew Friedman gets enough credit for what he does with the roster. I mean, this is the guy who helped turn the Rays around. Now he's in the bigger market, so the idea is that he's just spending money whenever he wants. And yes, he is doing that, but he's doing it better than most other teams. The New York Mets also spent a lot of money this year. They didn't even make the playoffs. Andrew Friedman knows how to fill the deepest roster in all of baseball so that when guys go down, the next guy comes up and produces at a high level. Yes, some of the big names they get are obvious. Getting Shohei Ohtani to join your baseball team, maybe you don't deserve a lot of credit for that. But I look at a guy like Teoscar Hernandez. I think he has played his absolute best baseball as a member of the LA Dodgers. He's not a superstar. superstar, but he performs very well. He is an all-star caliber player, and he has been even better as a member of the Dodgers. I absolutely give Friedman credit for bringing in a guy like that. I also have to mention Will Smith, who in my eyes is the second best catcher in all of baseball, behind only Cal Raleigh. He was having a great year, then he got injured, and he hit a massive home run in Game 7. Players like that make it hard for me to root against the Dodgers, and I don't really understand why there are so many baseball fans who do root against the team, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the Dodgers don't have a rival, in that there are not other teams spending like crazy like the Dodgers and putting all of their resources in it like they do. Yes, the San Diego Padres from time to time spend a lot of money, they make a lot of roster moves, but not at the same consistency as the Dodgers. In the 2000s, you had the Red Sox and the Yankees. Both teams were going all in on every big-time free agent. And right now, it feels like the Dodgers are the only team who's interested in every great player joining their team. Don't get me wrong, there are other big market teams, but they only go all in on one signature name. Like the Mets went all in on Juan Soto, and that was basically their offseason. With the Dodgers, they make a boatload of moves during the offseason, and that's likely going to continue. They are more aggressive than every other team. I've talked about the team that won the World Series. Let's talk a little bit about the team that lost it. The Blue Jays had a dream year. They locked in their star long term in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I, like many, thought that he was going to be out the door. I thought he was going to be one of those guys who joined the bigger market. He stays in Toronto, and now the team had great success, making it all the way to the World Series and within a game of winning it. There's a real possibility that this team goes on a run. I mean, they have the pieces. Now, they're going to have a fascinating offseason because they have to decide whether or not they're going to pay shortstop Bo Bichette, who dealt with injuries. He did hit a massive 3-run home run in Game 7. I just don't know how much money he's going to get this offseason. I think it's going to be north of $100 million. The team is youngish, but they also relied heavily on veterans like Kevin Gausman and George Springer, who are not getting any younger. So really no one knows how long this run is going to be. I think they're going to be aggressive this offseason. The Blue Jays like to spend money, and who wouldn't want to join the Blue Jays at this time? So after this series, the Dodgers are being anointed a dynasty, and rightfully so, because they've won 3 World Series in the span of 5 years. They are a dynasty. I just think it's interesting to say that the sport is being dominated by one team, specifically during this year, because this year of baseball did not feel like a year that was dominated by one team. There were teams that had moments. The Tigers had a moment. So did the Brewers. But this wasn't a year in baseball where there was a team that won 100 games. Everything was up in the air about who the best team in all of baseball was. And yes, I'm sure there are some baseball fans out there that are very disappointed by the fact that after all of that, the team that walked away with a World Series ring is the team we all thought was going to win in the first place. I feel differently. I feel like the Dodgers earned their World Series victory. They dealt with injuries. Blake Snell was not with them all year long. Tyler Glasnow was not with them all year long. They missed those guys during spurts. And the other thing about the Dodgers is I don't find them boring to watch. I think they are a very entertaining team. I want to see every Shohei Ohtani at bat. I want to see him pitch. I want Freddie Freeman to hit walk-off home runs. That's what's fun about the Dodgers, is that they have that star power. Their box office, I mean, who didn't want to see Shohei Ohtani pitch during Game 7 of the World Series? Just as a pure product, they are very entertaining. They are also a team filled with unsung heroes. I mean, Kike Hernandez plays out of his mind every year he plays in the postseason. Max Muncy, he's not a big name, but he gets big hits. Again, I think I would be more on people's side if the Dodgers really were this juggernaut. Like if they won 125 games and then just ran through the postseason. No, they barely won the World Series. They are a beatable team. The Blue Jays nearly defeated them. I don't necessarily walk away from this World Series going, there's no hope for the rest of baseball. The Dodgers are going to win the next 5 World Series titles. Yes, maybe my feelings will change if they have another great offseason, if they bring in Kyle Tucker, if they bring in other big names. Maybe I'll go, wow, this really is a hopeless situation for the rest of the sport. This isn't good. But right now, I kind of feel differently. I feel like the Blue Jays gave it their all. They were this close to winning, and the Dodgers were the better team, and I think the Dodgers earned it. And I absolutely love the fact that the hero of the series was Yamamoto and not one of the more obvious names, Ohtani, Betts, or Freeman. I love the fact that it was a starting pitcher. I love the fact that the Dodgers got to the World Series because of their elite starting pitching. Blake Snell really came on during the postseason. Last year, the Dodgers kind of won despite their starting pitching, and this year they won because of their starting pitching. So I love that they are evolving as a team even during this mini dynasty they're on. I guess what I'm really getting at is I don't understand being mad at the Dodgers. I would absolutely love my team, the Boston Red Sox, spending money like the LA Dodgers and being as consistent as the LA Dodgers. I think that's something you should want your baseball team to be instead of hating on the team that is being that. The Dodgers themselves dealt with a lot of the same issues as most modern baseball teams. They had a weak bullpen, especially down the stretch. I mean, if Roki Sasaki didn't become an elite level reliever by the end of the season, I don't think the Dodgers make it to the World Series. But getting back to Andrew Friedman, I believe his thing is having the deepest team in all of baseball. That is how the Dodgers are winning at this rate. They don't always have the best 1 through 9 lineup, but they have backups in case who they've chosen to be their everyday outfielder doesn't do well. I mean, Andy Paez was a key member of the Dodgers during the regular season. He was an all-star, but he did not have a good postseason, and despite that, the team still won the World Series. And I get what some of you will be thinking, well, my team can't do what the Dodgers are doing. They're not going to spend like the Dodgers. They don't have the resources, and that's fair. I just like the model that the Dodgers have created. They have chosen the right guys to build around. Mookie Betts, an outfielder now turned into an infielder. Freddie Freeman, a guy who's won 2 World Series MVPs. Yes, choosing Shohei Ohtani was obvious. Every team in baseball wanted Shohei Ohtani, but there's a reason he chose the LA Dodgers. Do I think definitively right now the Dodgers are going to repeat next year and make this thing a repeat? I don't. I don't think it's obvious. They have holes. Yes, I also think there's a chance they could be an even better regular season team come next year, especially if Blake Snell and Tyler Glasnow can get through an entire regular season healthy, then the Dodgers could be that 115 juggernaut team everyone predicted they would be this year. If Mookie Betts bounces back and has a better regular season. I mean, this year he drove in 82, but usually when talking about Mookie, we're talking about an MVP candidate. And who knows what they're going to do with Shohei Ohtani moving forward. I mean, will he be a regular season starting pitcher the entire year, or will they do what they did this year and he'll only be a starter like during the All-Star break and beyond? Who knows what their plan is? But playoff baseball is different. I mean, the Dodgers are never going to be the type of team that sweeps through the entire playoffs. I mean, they had a challenge this postseason. It was the Toronto Blue Jays who were this close to winning the World Series. There were 2 extra innings games. Let's not act like the Dodgers just walked over the entire sport. They did not. Yes, they walk away the winners. They're the best team in the sport, but not by miles and miles. There are teams out there that should be super aggressive this offseason to become better than the LA Dodgers. I think the Padres should always be one of those teams. They're always in the mix. They make it to the postseason. They have star power. They should always make moves to try to compete with the Dodgers. David Stearns and the Mets are always going to spend money. There are other teams out there. I'm still really high on American League teams like the Red Sox, the Mariners, the Tigers. These teams have a chance to win the World Series next year. It's not like the Dodgers are going to run away with things. And look, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the most scariest thing about the Dodgers is the fact that they don't have to have a dominant regular season. And at the end of the day, they're going to walk away with a World Series title because they just have so much more talent than their opponents. Maybe that truly is the thing that's daunting about the Dodgers. And maybe that wouldn't be the best thing for baseball, but we're not there yet with the Dodgers. I think we are talking about a team that has the chance of being a dominant regular season team, but didn't get there this year because of injuries. But they became a fully formed team come postseason time. Blake Snell became healthy and emerged. Tyler Glasnow became healthy. I just don't understand why most people react this way towards dynasties. They're not a bad thing. They're mostly what sports are made of. The 90s Bulls are what we're still talking about in the NBA. The Yankees of the 90s and into 2000, that's what we were talking about in baseball. Dynasties help these sports out. The Golden State Warriors became a dynasty, and it in part shaped the modern NBA that we are still all watching today and are entertained by. I guess I'm a little annoyed by the fact that we all want our teams to become a dynasty, but yet we're all annoyed when other teams become that dynasty. And I get that. We're fans. We all want our teams to win, and it's upsetting that this one team is doing all the winning. But hating on them, I just find to be a little silly. At the end of this podcast, I believe there's a chance that the Dodgers do make it a repeat. But in the same vein, I also believe that another team could emerge out of nowhere and become the best team in the sport. This doesn't feel like a forever thing when it comes to the Dodgers, and that's how people are treating it. Well, we'll never win again because the Dodgers are there. And I get that. They have the money, they have the resources. They're always going to be a competitive team that tries to win that division. They're not going away. But this isn't a team that's going to win the World Series each of the next 5 years. They have flaws. Maybe they'll fill some of those flaws, but there are teams out there that can compete with the Dodgers. The Blue Jays can compete with the Dodgers. And possibly the number one reason why I don't believe the Dodgers are bad for baseball, because I think it motivates these other teams to spend more money. I don't think the Mets go all in on Juan Soto like that if the Dodgers don't exist. The Padres, like I said earlier, spend all of this money on players because of the Dodgers. The San Francisco Giants traded for Rafael Devers because of the LA Dodgers. They are motivating their rivals to make moves. And if that's not good for baseball, I don't know what is. I'm always going to be impressed by a team who repeats. It is not easy to be a repeat champ because genuinely these athletes just aren't as motivated the second time. But that was not the case with the Dodgers. They got the job done. New heroes emerged. I don't think they're going away. I'm not rooting for them to get a repeat, but if they get there, I'm not going to be mad about it. I respect the Dodgers, and if you're a fan of baseball, you should as well. And full disclosure, my favorite player in all of baseball is Mookie Betts, so the more he wins, the better. Thanks for listening to this edition of Head to Head. I'm Kim McKinney, and there'll be a new episode of the podcast every Monday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, so please rate, review, and subscribe.